Hello, this is Peter Steedman again. I just wanted to have a little chat with you about a question that often gets asked me. Over the last 30 years, I've been working professionally as a medium and as a healer. I had my first conscious, loving connection with spirit almost 50 years ago. So I want to be able to share with you some of the things that you could experience when you're wondering whether a loved one who you miss, who is now passed over, is still close to you. The biggest fear, obviously, we have for many people anyway, is they're just imagining it, they're hoping for something, therefore creating something. But there's something quite amazing. Over the many years I've been doing this work, I have had many incredible first account stories of people's experiences of meeting a loved one after they had passed to spirit, often in quite physical ways as well. But we're talking about the more common ways, the more tangible ways that you and I and most of us would feel a loving energy of a mother, a father, a son, a brother, an uncle, grandfather, someone we love. And that's important to remember. It is a love connection. So when we have gone through a loss of someone who's gone to spirit, sometimes we find it's very hard to feel anything. And I think the reason for that is, as I've seen it, is that someone who has lost someone they love is just overwhelmed by grief. And when you go into grief, it's almost as if you can't feel anything else. You know, you almost shut down. You shut off from the outside world, and certainly you shut off from feeling anything because the grief is so overwhelming, almost painful. And that can go on for quite some time. But then someone will say to me, so I could always feel energy beforehand. Why can't I feel this loved one around me now? Now, what I want to say is that when that has happened, I have often clairvoyantly seen the loved one in spirit behind the person who's come to me, but they can't feel them because they've just closed down, shut down everything. It's almost as if they've locked themselves in a little room, closed the doors, closed the windows, shut the curtains, and just said, I can't exist anymore because my life has come to a stop. So it is important to be able to, first of all, to acknowledge the grief, to realize too that the person who is in spirit is also often grieving or feeling that grief and sorrow and shock, confusion. Often there's a sense of relief, to be relieved from pain they may have been going through, or the inability to move or to talk or to express themselves. However, it's important for you as the living soul to be able to remember the person who you're missing, who's now passed the spirit, to remember them as they were when they were well. This is so helpful for the person who's passed the spirit, who's also trying to remember when they felt well, when they were in the prime of their life. Because then when they draw close to you, they don't bring back with them and remember and re-trigger those feelings of their last pain, the last sadnesses, the helplessness, the hopelessness, the weakness, the vulnerability, all those things. Instead, when they come close to you, they can bring with the feelings of laughter, of the humor, of the upliftment, the support, the encouragement. And so what would be helpful if you're trying to connect to someone who you've lost a spirit is to maybe create a sacred space in your home, maybe a small table with maybe some lovely photographs of that person that you love, maybe light a candle for them, and maybe just sit down quietly and ask for that person to draw close to you, and ask that they may be at peace, ask that they may feel the warmth and protection that light brings. Remember, as you sit there, allow yourself to remember the wonderful memories rather than the sad ones. Maybe have some photographs pulled out of times that you're on holiday together, or having a party, or a picture of the smiling face. So that also gives more emotional, powerful energy, which helps this connection to take place. Now, the things that you may notice when a person in spirit draws close is there is often a feeling or a knowing of someone being close to you. So effectively, we have an energy field around us. And it feels as if that spirit person step into the energy field. Now, depending on your sensitivity, depending on how open or closed you are, depending on the strength of the personality of the person in spirit, will often depend on how strong that feeling is when someone steps into your energy field. So here's some of the things that you can look out for. You can often get the goosebumps. Many people talk about getting goosebumps. It's a very relative symptom that you will get. And I think it is when the frequency of the aura is changed by another frequency touching it. So you almost get this rippling effect down through the nervous system. You can get the goosebumps on your arms. It's often they talk about that. One of the most powerful things as well, though, is the feeling of love, the feeling of warmth, the feeling of being hugged, feeling of being held, that would come from a loved one. You can sometimes feel as if the top of your head is being touched, because we have an energy point on the top of our head, the crown chakra, which is opening to connect to a higher, faster frequency vibration, which is that of spirit. Because everything is frequencies and vibration. We're a very dense frequency. When we go to spirit, we're a much higher vibration. So I want you to notice cold drafts that may be just around by the feet up to the knees, to notice whether you get a sense of a feeling of hands on the shoulders. When I say hands, it's more like a heaviness or warmth. You may find that your own hands, it feels like there's a change of energy above the hand, or if you have the hand with the palms out, and you can almost ask for that loved one to come and hold your hand, you can often feel something over the hand. Now, what you can do is, I suggest that you put all self-doubt, uncertainty to one side while you do this. And afterwards, you can then analyze it and make some sense of it. Initially, you're just observing the experience, but also what you want to do is acknowledge what you're feeling. So, for instance, if you felt that a loved one had drawn close, but you weren't sure, but you were feeling various symptoms, you were getting that, maybe the goosebumps, maybe you felt that cold draft, maybe you just had that knowing that someone was there, and you're feeling that love or the warmth, what you need to do is let that spirit know what's happening, because they're often unsure of what you're feeling. So they have to learn how to communicate with you, and you have to learn how to communicate with them. It soon becomes a very natural process. Now, remember that you're doing this with respect. You're doing it with a specific intention. This is not about meddling or opening up to anything. This is specifically opening up and asking for a loved one to draw close like they would have done in life. And it's the most natural response you can have. It's a loving energy. Now, if you felt the energy was too close and a bit uncomfortable, you just out loud or quietly just say, just please take a step back. Thank you. So if I had met you and I had come running in and put my hands on your shoulders and squeeze, I was so excited and I wasn't quite sure what you were feeling. You would say, hang on a minute, Peter, take a step back. It's a bit hard and a bit, you're squeezing me. Take a step back. Oh, gosh. I'd say, sorry, I just didn't realize, I wasn't really sure what was going on. I was so excited. And so spirit often come in with just such enthusiasm that they're not quite sure what you're feeling. So when you direct them, when you acknowledge those feelings and also feel you have a choice by asking them to take a step back until it becomes comfortable, then you can just talk to them about some of the happy memories. You can, of course, say how you miss them, they miss you, but you can just say, I just send you love. I'm just so grateful that you've been in my life. I miss you, obviously, but I'm so grateful that you're still here, still part of our lives. And I welcome that. Thank you. And I ask that you continue your healing and continue to feel peaceful. Then when you've done that, you then can ask them to take a step back. You blow out the light, the candle, and then you just get on with your day, knowing that that you have connected, and then you get on and ground yourself. So you're just doing the washing up, having a cup of tea, whatever it is you do. But also what it does, it gives an opportunity for that loved one in spirit to find a time in your day when it's suitable to you. And also not only being suitable, but also time when you're listening. A lot of the time of the day, we're just far too busy thinking of other things, so that even if spirit are close, it's very hard for them to get our attention, because we get so lost in our own thoughts. So this is why often many people get experiences at night time because that's when our conscious minds are quieter. And also when spirit can draw close, we often will become awake, will be woken by that. And then of course it's a little bit of a shock because we're uncertain what's going on. But a loved one will always come with love. But at the same time, I would always suggest that you treat everything with respect and with integrity, and to know that it's one of the most wonderful things in the world to be able to feel this wonderful connection that we have with these loving souls around us, not only our loved ones who we've missed and have now passed over, but also to know that there are guardian angels and loved ones who look after us. And I can say that my first conscious loving experience of connecting with a spirit guardian angel was almost 50 years ago, and it was an anchor for me in my life. You know, when everything else seemed to be going away or had gone from me, that was the one thing I knew that no one could take away from me. It was just always there. And it was something then which I made it my dream, not my dream, my conscious goal in life was just to share and to be able to help others to be able to also find that knowing rather than just a belief, to have a knowing. And to know that since then, of course, that there have been many, many experiences of loved ones around us. But so I just wanted to share that with you. I hope you find it helpful. And if there's anything that you want to ask about that or share with me, please feel free to comment and ask me, and I will address it in another video. Please like and subscribe, because I do hope to share some of the extensive knowledge I have of the spiritual work, the teachings which I can share with you to give you more confidence, more understanding, because often our questions we're not quite sure who to ask or where to ask. I promise you I'll always keep it very grounded, very down to earth, and also I am normal in that way, is I like to treat it all with respect but with humor, as I'm sure you'll see some from some of my videos. So I wish you well, and thank you for being part of this video series, and also just feel free to share to anyone you think might benefit from some of my ramblings, if you like. So thank you. Bye bye.